What's up, community? We're back looking at Bbig. I did not have time to make a video on it yesterday, but you know what? We're talking about it today. You know what, guys? We're seeing a few things across Bbig and across the wider market, and I do really want to speak about this right now because it's not looking good on the one day for Bbig. We're down now again, this time down by 7.5%, so it really is a big drop, really, in the grand scheme of things, and the past week is looking pretty red. So we're going to be talking about why this may be. We're talking about the market as a whole today and all that sort of good stuff. If it sounds good, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe, but also remember, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, and I do thoroughly recommend you know what you're doing, and I recommend that you do your own research, especially with stocks like Bbig, because they are extremely risky and extremely volatile. I think it's important that investors are not only informed of the risk, but also informed of the extra risk which comes with these quote-unquote short squeeze stocks as well. So inform yourself, make sure you know what you're doing, and you should be fine. But yeah, now we're going to jump into the video, and I'll be sharing a few of my thoughts based on what we are seeing in the markets as a whole, and of course on Bbig. So where I really want to start off today is look at the markets as a whole, and we're going to start off looking at the Dow Jones up here, and we'll also look over here to a few of the indices that I had open from yesterday. These include things like the S&P 500, which is actually up today by about 0.085, so it is only just in the green, and this is really the trend across the whole market. Just to sum things up for you guys, a few things are still down in the red by a small amount, but really we had a big red morning. Things were coming into the green though by the end of the day, and now we've got about an hour or so to go. Anything could happen, you know, it really is either way 50-50 because we're so close to neutral. It could really turn red or green towards the end, but you know, generally speaking, the market has been quite red for the morning, and then it came back up in the afternoon. That's just what I'm trying to portray before we do look at Bbig in comparison to this. So I wouldn't really say that Bbig is mirroring this so much. I would say what we have seen with Bbig clearly on the 5-day chart especially is that we had a big drop in the pre-hours / post-hours yesterday, whichever one it was, and now we opened up down. Subsequently, I think we saw a little bit of a rise in the morning, and I think from there, sell-off did occur, which is fine, and then we had a flat day of consolidation really, and a little bit of a push up towards the end so far, and like I said, there is still an hour to go, so it could go either way with Bbig. Either way, I think there is not really any chance at all of us coming into green today, unfortunately, as we are down a lot more than what we are down on the general markets, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, and I want to talk more about this and the strategy behind Bbig in just a moment, but I'm just informing you guys that is what we are seeing now, down by about 8% on the one day. So, yeah, things are not looking too good over here, but we'll have a look at a few of our other favourite stocks. We can see ATER is actually down by 11% again today, AMC down by 0.3%, MRIN up by a small amount really, CEI, which is a play that some people are watching, that's down by a further 30% today. So you can see, you know, I'm not really going to include CEI for reasons which I outlined in our CEI video yesterday. I'm not really the biggest fan of it. But yeah, basically, a lot of our stocks in this field of quote-unquote meme stocks are actually down today, and that is worth noting as well. So, you know, look at Bbig, look at the general market in this sector, and we are seeing drops in a similar level from a percentage standpoint. Now what I want to talk about is the strategy, and then we'll get onto the technical analysis and that sort of thing in a while. I want to speak first about the tweet from a while ago, which speaks basically about the strategy behind Bbig, and here it is over here. So it basically speaks about the fact that a lot of people are buying into certain stocks, making a bit of profit and then jumping out before there is actually the opportunity to, you know, see the squeeze happen. And we also need to see a short interest and also a long interest from retail investors. Now, this is something that you guys will know I've been banging on about in every single one of our videos for weeks. It works both ways. We need interest from shorts, of course, but we also need interest from longs, just to paraphrase this tweet, but we will read it out just so that you guys have a 100% accurate definition of what was said. So this person here hopes that those who have been chasing high short interest stocks like ATER, SDC, Bbig, and a few others have now realized it's not necessarily about the short interest percent, it's about the community of buyers and holders. Basically, most of these stocks are zombified, and big money just wants to sell calls and buy puts and dump. A lot of truth to be said there, guys. I mean, it's hard to play the market right now, and always in the past year at least, from my experience, we've had different phases where people have been fooled into buying things which weren't necessarily the best investments, and this is certainly the case here again in this quote-unquote short squeeze sector. Just because it has a high short interest doesn't really mean anything. Sometimes there are perfectly good reasons for that, and sometimes, it does make sense for us to obviously avoid these stocks, even if it looks primed for a squeeze, in my personal opinion. Fundamentals are not everything, but sometimes they do count for something. I think investors really should just actually think before they get into something, rather than just blindly follow something, as a lot of people have been doing. Now, I know you guys probably think that I'm about to start bashing BBIG from a fundamental standpoint, and absolutely no, I am not going to do that. I'm going to bring you up to another tweet from 22 hours ago, which shares a few good things. Now, this is actually a screenshot, I would assume, from StockTwits. The user on StockTwits is called The Niz, I would assume that is, and it just goes on to sum up a few things which are really good. So, long story short, okay, everybody is talking about BBIG and getting impatient, seemingly. There are never-ending red days, but take a moment and a deep breath to chill. The stock isn't a scam. If it was, the CEO and other insiders would have sold at $12 plus. Not a single insider has sold. Very good point, of course. If it is a scam, the people who are behind the scam are going to try and get their money out quickly at a high profit. That is basically the whole definition of a scam. So I completely agree with that point. Hudson Bay, an award-winning top-tier investment firm, has been buying up to the tune of 77 million shares, ranging from a price of about $3 to $9 in exercise price, and they've not sold anything so far either. Their lead counsel, who should know better than anybody else what is going on behind the scenes, opted to take payment in shares, and they cannot be sold until after management versus the standard fee in cash. They would not have taken this risk unless they were confident that the share value of BBIG would be significantly more than it is in their standard cash fee. Several other institutions and hedge funds have been loading up since June and continue to do so. None of them have sold at $12 either. Right, a few things to break down from there, and I think that is some really good DD. I think it is really good strategy as well, because, from the two tweets I've just read out, I think that really tells us everything that we need to know from this sector. Now, this is not necessarily something that should be taken as 100% advice or fact either. You definitely need to do your own research. But, it does kind of show us a sentiment behind the people running BBIG, behind the people investing in BBIG, and why this stock could be a decent short squeeze play. Because, initially it was just GME that was a short squeeze play, fair enough. It had the prime target, so it did squeeze to over $400. Then it was AMC. And you know what, AMC, I am actually on AMC myself, and I think it's a really good investment still, in my opinion, so I'm going to be holding that one. And then we had ATER, BBIG, whatever. Then it starts to get a bit questionable. We're having a lot of these quote-unquote short squeeze stocks, and a short squeeze is a rare phenomenon. And then we have loads of short squeeze stocks at the moment. So yeah, there are definitely a few bad apples, well, a lot of bad apples actually. If anything, it's like there's a few good eggs in between a lot of bad apples with short squeeze stocks, in my opinion. It is definitely about the community behind this one. I think we have a community here. It's definitely not as big as AMC or GME. I know you guys are going to hate on me for saying that, but it is not as big. That's a fact. But it's still a solid community. A lot of people who are here are not leaving. A lot of people who are here have done the DD. And again, whether we see these people leave in the mid-term or perhaps even the short-term, that depends on a few factors. If they do leave, my opinion would significantly change because, of course, like I said, we need the interest from the retail investors, or at least the long investors as well. But what this tweet was trying to say is that, yeah, there is some really good reasons, actually, why BBIG is still a decent buy, or at least why it could be a stock that could see big growth in the future. And I completely agree with that, but ultimately, I still think BBIG is a highly risky stock just because of the potential of that short squeeze. Yes, if it goes to that short squeeze, it is going to see big highs in my opinion, but also zoom out to the 6-month period or even the 1-year period, and you will see that BBIG is up, really from about $1.57 up about 5 times or 4 times, roughly, give or take, and even from the highs we're up significantly more than that. So the point to take away is that there is still some room to fall if things do not go in our favour. But what I always say, and I just want to reiterate that in this video, we need to see the interest from retail continue and from long investors in general continue if we want that potential of a short squeeze. But that's not all for the video, guys. Quickly, just before the end, I want to give another technical analysis, look at the 1-day, 5-day and 1-month chart. And we can see so far in the 1 day, we're almost sat exactly on that moving average. We're sat on a RSI figure of 41, not too bad. We're sat at a MACD trend that is neutral. The 1 day data to me doesn't really mean too much with this stock unless you are day trading it, which I don't think many people will be. The 5 day data becomes a bit more inclusive. Sat on an RSI figure of 49, we're actually sat almost exactly on that moving average, which is good. And the MACD down here is still neutral, but it is becoming a little bit, towards the upside, I do potentially believe. On the 1 month, we can see that moving average is still catching up, and it is a little bit above where we are right now. It's a 50-day moving average. It obviously tracks the past 50 days, so it is going to be a bit out of the scale. We're seeing a MACD trend becoming bearish as time does go on, as the price has been dropping in the past month, and we are seeing an RSI figure fall as well subsequently, coming down now to 39. So the numbers from a technical standpoint do not look too bad. Yeah, we are dropping lower today with BBIG, which is a shame. I think it was a day before yesterday that I spoke about my next price target level of support for BBIG. I was looking at 6, if not that, I would be looking at about 550 because we have hit a level around there before. Right now, we are obviously in a range that we haven't really tested before for a long time. So I think it's very hard as to where we are going to find the support. Ultimately, for the sake of where we are right now, I'd be looking to see a support at $5. That would be nice, but again, not guaranteed. It depends on a number of factors, like I said, such as retail investors, such as how much the stock is being shorted, such as what's going on behind the scenes, and also such as things like, the markets as a whole. So BBIG, the potential is still there, that's what I'm trying to say. Do not take it for granted, it's not guaranteed, and I think that is worth mentioning as well, but it is definitely something that does have that potential to go up in the future. Just my opinion, tell me yours down below guys. Ultimately, it depends on what retail does, in my personal view. Thank you for watching through till the end, but let me tell you about our Discord. So on your screen you will be seeing the N2S Finance Discord. Obviously it is split into multiple sections. Basically at the top we have updates from me and all that kind of good stuff. If you scroll down a bit further we have the main sections where we focus on cryptos, SPACs and other hot stocks including penny stocks, even stable growth stocks as well, and we even have a special AMC GME chat. If you scroll down you can see some research and DD from the community. We also have funny memes and you can see actual contributions from members down here. And again, if you do join us, it is completely free, link is down below. But if you do want to become a Patreon, you will actually get a pink sticker which will be displayed on your name. So your name will come up in pink as mine comes up in red down here, and that will show that you are a Patreon. But other than that guys, you can join completely for free down below. You do not have to pay anything if you do not want to. Thank you for watching, see you soon.